Welcome back to the Built Local podcast. Today we have a guest calling in from Northwest Indiana with Ray's Holiday Lights. Ray, how you doing today?
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, doing well. Glad to have you. Ray, for anybody who doesn't know who you are or what you do, give them a little bit of your backstory.
My name's Ray. We're out of Northwest Indiana. My business is holiday lights, and not just seasonal holiday lights. We do permanent lights, which is going to be year-round lights where you can control from your phone. Gives you 4 billion colors, so year-round, any holiday, sporting event, birthday, you name it, you could change the colors on the house. And we also do patio lighting for the back, like Edison style bulbs, and then we also do landscape lights. We're versatile in terms of exterior lighting and giving your house that look that you want and not just sitting in the dark.
Yeah, for sure. Stick out in the neighborhood and become a talking piece. I mean, I think that's cool. We have somebody in our neighborhood that sets the colors. When I think they're an LSU fan, they do like purple and yellow and stuff for game day and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
absolutely.
That's really neat.
Been in this business for about 10 years now. Years ago, my mother used to pay a company to come out and hang lights, and they were the incandescent bulb. They had wires everywhere, but they were charging a lot of money. I'm an engineer by trade, so I do electrical, plumbing, all the trades and stuff like that. I wanted to pick up a side job at the time. I was still an apprentice, and I had started offering the service, doing just lights we'd buy from the store, or the customer would supply the lights, and then we would set them up, and then we would take them down and store them until the next year. And as years grew, more customers, and we also only use our lights, and they're all commercial grade LED lights, and they're all cut to fit to the house. So they're not Home Depot lights, they're commercial grade LEDs, and everything's perfectly cut to the house and custom to your house. So it helps you stand out, and you could do any color with just the seasonal lights, not by a phone, but just choosing at the beginning of the season and setting them up, take them down, and we store them too. So a lot of homes, you got all these big wreaths and garland, you just throw them up in the rafters and then they get ruined. But we put them in some nice bins with your name on it, and then the next year we come back and reinstall them. So it kind of started out like that seasonally. As years came on, they started introducing permanent lighting, which is starting to be the next hot item, because instead of paying our company every year, you just pay once. You get that long-term investment in these lights, and you have year-round lights. I started offering some more things with the patio and the landscape lights, and it's kind of where it went from there. And it's pretty cool being able to do lights. A lot of homes, some subdivisions, we have a lot of homes, and we do one block, 7 neighbors in a row. So being able to drive down the block at night with my daughter, and she's like, "Look, did you do this? How?" Like she always asks, "It's raised lights, raised lights." Just cool, because lights bring joy to people. Just being able to share that with my family and people in the neighborhood is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. When did you officially start Ray's Holiday Lights?
So it's 2016 when I officially came up with the name, but a year or two that I was doing just friends and family. I was 19, 20 years old at the time, so I was kind of just getting my bearings on it and doing it as a side job. But then I really took it serious on year 2, on the up and up, and just really been going hard at it every year.
Awesome. When you were getting started, I know you said you took it really serious year 2 and stuff like that. When were permanent lights kind of introduced into your business model? When did y'all start going heavy on the permanent lights and kind of doing that and the other services year round?
I didn't start introducing all the other services up until maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It was mainly just seasonal because I was an engineer downtown. I had a 9 to 5. As I was growing, I could only do so much, but I stepped away from that and being able to focus all my time and energy on my business and my future. And so about 4 years ago is when I started introducing the landscape lighting, the patio lights, and then permanent lights have kind of been a thing, but when they first come out, there was only a few brands out there, and because there's so much involved with the lights, you don't just put them up there and you're done. There's all these little components that are involved because you're constantly sending data through the line of the lights. So I was kind of sitting back waiting for them to perfect their models before I start introducing it to customers, because I want to prove that the system that I'm installing is a great product, and also me being the installer, that we're standing behind product and we're going to be there to address any situations if they ever arise.
What is kind of the price point so people can kind of get a gauge of when y'all do permanent lightings versus just maybe a one-time hang up for the holidays? What's the difference in price, and what are those price ranges?
The greatest customer is one that's never had either done. So then they fully get the option to choose whether they want seasonal or permanent. Do you want to pay a little bit every year, or do you want to invest in the house up front and then you got year-round lights. So generally, the homes we're doing in Northwest Indiana, they're ranging anywhere from 700 on up, and that's for seasonal lights. That includes the lights, the setup, takedown, storage, and maintenance throughout the season. Permanent lights, like I said, there's more to it. And seasonal lights, we're doing one crew, we could do 15 houses in a day. Whereas permanent lights,
Wow.
depending on the scope of the job, we might only be able to do one. Sometimes we've done two if it's a smaller project. So just that, the labor cost is up because it's very tedious. Find wires. We're using all these waterproof connectors, and everything's hidden. So when it comes to the permanent lights, the particular brand we install is installed in an aluminum track system. So we custom bend aluminum that all the lights are hidden in the track. So you only see the bulb sticking through, but you don't see the wires. So
Wow.
a lot of homeowners, they see big box stores and online retailers selling these lights that are called permanent lights that they stick on with 3M tape. Well, as elements in the Midwest, you got rain, snow, sleet. It's 60 degrees right now, but tonight it could be 20. So hot, cold, hot,
Yeah.
cold. So the stickiness is only going to last as long as you put it on a dirty soffit. There's times where I see customers, they say, hey, we're going to go this route. And you drive by a month later and they have a few bulbs hanging. And then we get a call, hey, you know what? I've done countless jobs where we've removed those particular permanent lights and install ours at the same time. When you see those lights, there's wires everywhere, and some people are fine with that. And I guess it's better than no lighting. Long term of things, you almost want to pay now rather than pay later, if that makes sense. I tell people not to steer them away. It's like the Ferrari of the permanent lights versus the Toyota Corolla. So I don't want a Ferrari. I want maybe a BMW. I says, well, honestly, this is the best bang for your buck, because long term you're going to appreciate this. The tech support is there. The app is super user friendly. A lot of my customers are older people that aren't tech friendly. They don't even know how to use their phone. They're amazed by how easy the app is. And there's some other brands out there that 2000s website kind of style app.
Yeah.
It has a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah. Real quick, if you're a local business owner and you want to start getting customers from Google, you know how important Google reviews are. Every week, I talk to business owners just like you across hundreds of industries who know reviews matter, but never seem to have the time or the system in place to actually get them. That's exactly why I've spent the last 2 years building Review Harvest. We built it with a non-tech savvy business owner in mind, so anybody can set it up in minutes and start getting reviews today. It automates the process of getting real reviews from your customers, responding to those reviews, and repurposing them across your website and across your social media platforms. It's a set it and forget it software. You can get it all set up in about 10 minutes and you never have to worry about reviews again. We can integrate into the tools you're already using, so you don't have to change a thing. You don't have to train your team on how to request reviews. You don't have to request them manually. You get customers, we get your reviews. It's simple as that. And the first play in our playbook is what we call a review reactivation. You probably have hundreds or thousands of previous customers who loved your service but never left your review. So a lot of times our users can double or even triple their reviews just in the first couple months of working with us when we do that review reactivation. So it's about, you said it could be anywhere from 700 and up for just the seasonal lighting, but what's kind of the price point, just a range for the permanent?
Permanent lighting is going to be anywhere from 3 to 5 times the cost of the seasonal. But keep in mind, you pay the 700, you're going to pay maybe 600 for the years to follow. So I had one customer say, man, I've been doing the seasonal lights for 5 years now. And maybe the total in the 5 years was maybe 6,000 after the 5 years doing the service for him. And he goes, well, how much are the permanent lights? I says, well, based on the linear length of lights you would need, the total is $5,500. He's like, man, I could have had those. It's like retirement. You either save now or you save later. A lot of people procrastinate, just pay a little now, rather than getting it over up front and getting it set. It's kind of how it is. And it's just depends who you are and things like that.
Just like retirement, the earlier you start to save, the earlier you'll start to be able to enjoy it. And same thing with the permanent lights. As soon as you get the permanent lights, you can enjoy them every single day.
I had customers say, oh, we would only use them for Christmas. Now, mind you, they live a few blocks from me. I drive by, now they say only Christmas. I drive by every holiday they got them on. So, just goes to show, as much as you think only Christmas, because it ain't just the colors. You could do accents where one light's on, 3 are off, and then it's kind of nice look to your house.
At least 20 or 30 occasions every single year, I'd like to have special sort of lights going on. So that's awesome. Well, what about from the marketing side? Third year, going all in on it. What have you done to grow the business and get customers? That's kind of the main thing that people struggle with, is getting those high quality leads and those jobs with the people willing to pay thousands of dollars for this sort of service.
In the beginning, it was just word of mouth. Because I'm on every job, I can hold a great conversation. I'm easy to connect with people. They have my direct number, that when I was doing projects, we were outperforming their expectations, that then they would then tell a friend. That's one of the greatest, cheapest, and greatest ways, as long as you can do a good job, to earn customers. But over time, in the beginning when I started, people were like, wow, people pay you to hang lights? And that was something they've never heard of. But now it's like everyone knows about it and everyone's doing it. It's no longer a silly extra cost for people. They got to have it because they don't want their husband or their cousin fell off the roof. So then I started with the yard signs on customers' homes, was another cheaper alternative, getting big with marketing and things like that. Through the years, I've had to step up with the Facebook ads. And last year I did a couple of campaigns where I was sending out to every door direct mail, where I would market it certain towns and send the mailers out. It would hit every house with a big discounted price to earn their business. And that cost some money, and I was able to get my return and make a few bucks extra on it. But recently, the past year or two, I've been really going in on the Facebook and Meta advertising. I'm working with a local business over here, and he's handling all for me. I do a lot of things, and that's one thing that I have to learn and things like that. Top of that, getting my name out there, then people are looking you up. I never really took the Google review thing serious. Let's say 300 seasonal customers, and I'm texting each one individually, hey, it's Ray, can you please leave me a review if you like our work? Get maybe 10 or 20, and then I wouldn't want to double text them personally because I feel like I was being a nuisance. That's when I came across you guys, and I was like, this is another way to delegate something that's beneficial for my business in follow-up texts. It's coming from company versus me begging for the reviews. And on the follow-ups, I do get a lot of more response too, because I think people feel like, I owe you that review, and I'm like, yeah, don't forget about me as long as I did a good job. So that's why I got involved with Review Harvest about that, because a lot of people would call me up. They'd be like, oh, we got some great reviews. I think that goes a long way.
A lot of people, maybe they don't think about Google as their main way of getting customers, but what's the first thing somebody does when they get a mailer? The first thing somebody does when they see a yard sign or whatever, they go to Google and look you up,
Right.
So having those reviews there is super valuable. We're already talking about kind of the process of getting more reviews, but just overall, while we're on it, how's your experience been like with Review Harvest so far?
Yeah, it's been great. Mainly, the main income is the seasonal as of right now. Once I input the seasonal customers in there, it just, once I get new customers and I throw them in there. But overall, it's been super user friendly, and you guys kind of reach out if I got any, just set up, a meeting to go over things, but I haven't really felt the need to, because it's pretty easy how to set it up, and there's just a few buttons and it does it for you.
I love it. Do you remember how many reviews you had when you got started with us?
I probably had around, maybe let's say 20 or 30, we'll say.
Awesome. And
I just started that asking for reviews thing this past season. I never really took it serious, and then I tried, and I texted everybody, and I got a handful, and then kind of gave up on it. And that's when I worked with you guys that I was able to get up there. I would hope that more people would write reviews, but I'm also in the same boat. When I get asked for reviews, I say, I'll get to it. And then sometimes, I got a million things going on, family, kids, it kind of gets pushed off. So the follow-up is what helps seal the deal. But overall, this is a great way to stay on track of having a good report with new potential customers and things like that.
I don't think it's been 2 months yet, and you're almost knocking on the door of 100 reviews. I think you're 93 right now, started with around 30. Like you said, we're pretty much only in business because people say they're going to leave a review, they don't leave a review. That's why we have a job. If it was easy to get reviews from people, then nobody would use us.
Yeah, it's a great model, honestly. It gets right to the point, and I even like how you guys had the text was custom too, the picture, and it has their name on it. Doesn't just comes less off as it looks like there's more involved to the ask than just a quick little hey review type thing.
Well, speaking about reviews, you've got customers raving about you on your Google Business Profile all the time now. How do you keep your customers so happy? I know we already touched on conversations and all that sort of stuff, but what are some things you do to go above and beyond for your customers?
So I definitely focus, and especially with my team, is to make sure we over deliver. Obviously to a certain extent, but I always make sure we show up when we're going to be there. We're there if there's something wrong, make sure that things are cleaned up on the way out. And sometimes we follow up to check in, see how things are going. I'll even tell you, I've had a few reviews. I'll be in the subdivision going to do another job, and I'm driving by another customer's house that we did for seasonal lights. They have a metal roof. So when it snows, the snow slides off the metal roof, rapidly when the sun comes out and it rips all the lights down. Anytime I driving by a certain job that we've done, I'll say, hey, I'm going to pop up on your roof to address this. And they didn't even ask me for it. And some people are like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to call them to change one bulb. Some people call as soon as that bulb goes out, but there's some people that think that it's kind of being extra to call about one
Yeah.
bulb that went out. I tell them, honestly, you could call me, you could text me at 11 o'clock at night. I'm not coming at 11 o'clock at night. I'll be there the next day, but you're being a nuisance to me because you're paying for service. And I want to give that to you because I want to make sure that the job we do is over and beyond that way, because it's been the most successful way to get business is word of mouth, because people have trust in their
Yeah.
friends and family. And you could ask all day on Facebook for business, but if they don't know you, you just look like another person on, Facebook asking for business. Just maintaining things and stuff like that, but always taking care of them.
The best form of marketing is just creating a relationship and going above and beyond and serving the customer well. It might not pay off the same day or the next day, like running a Facebook ad or something might, but in the long haul, it obviously does. That's good stuff there. What about kind of plans? What are your plans for Ray's Holiday Lights over the next year or 2 years? Is there a certain number of customers you want to get to or a certain revenue target that you're going for?
I want as many customers as we can handle. Permanent lights is becoming a thing, and ideally installing permanent lights year round. Spring and summer and fall are my favorite because it's not working in 20-degree weather. You can't wear gloves and it's all fine. Everything you touch is metal, the wire, the gutter, tools. So being able to grow the permanent lighting side and the landscape lighting side would be phenomenal. Being able to keep my guys working and keeping food on their table. The main thing I enjoy being able to give work to my crew. That's one thing part of Ray's Holiday Lights is I live for that, being able to help others make money and do a good job and learn tools, certain things that when they go home, they could do their lights, or they're doing their
Yep.
cousin's lights or whatever. It's a pretty cool thing.
Just so we know, how many customers have you served to date since you started in 2016?
Because seasonal, they're repeat customers. And then if I build,
Yeah.
I've slowly transitioned. I had half of my business in Illinois, but I'm looking to expand the Indiana side of things. So seasonally, we're doing close, a little over 300 home seasonal lights, and that's one crew. The goal would be to get
Awesome.
another crew and be able to split up and take on more projects for seasonal lights. The permanent lights, another thing, be able to get a crew that their expertise is permanent lights, and that being able to do a lot what I do in terms of the hands-on for certain parts of it, like the technical stuff.
I always like to kind of end out the podcast with, if you're a holiday lighting or a permanent lighting company listening, what's one piece of advice or one piece of wisdom that you had to maybe learn the hard way that you would share with a fellow business owner in the lighting field, trying to grow their business and get more customers and make more money?
It's a good question. I think over the years, I've learned that being the cheapest is not always the best. When you take on projects of being the cheapest, sometimes the customer that is going for the cheapest one, it ends up costing you the most money. Sometimes being the middle, or sometimes the expensive one, but you're dealing with the right customer. Your $300 client costs you so much money because they're going to call back, they're going to nitpick on little things because it's $300 that they may not necessarily have. But if the guy's spending $3,000, he wants it done, he knows you're going to do it.
Well, it's a good point about the cheap thing. A lot of things, like you said, if you got a $300 client, they might only have $3,000 to their name. And so you're asking for 10% of all their money for the $300. Whereas if you're charging somebody $3,000 or $5,000, they might have a couple $100,000. So now we're asking for 1 or 2% of their money. It's a lot smaller deal to them than it is somebody's giving over 10 or 20% of all the money they have.
And now, as you're saying, I was thinking about my advice, especially to, holiday light clients or holiday light companies. Things I've ran into the past, if I take on a project from another company, say like that company was doing a poor job with the client, they called me and said, hey, we use so and so, but their service this year was not what we expected. I would take on their project with their lights from that company, and I've learned that there's a lot of people cutting corners, they're leaving exposed wires, they're using indoor wire nuts, they're not using electrical tape where needed. There's a lot of that could be a safety hazard. So I guess my advice would be to always make sure that when you leave that job, you're comfortable with that job, because if something happens and God forbid you burn the house down, fingers are pointed at you. But if you left that and everything was wire connect sealed, blah, 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 you feel more safe and comfortable and have a better name. Because if someone else comes on the job, a lot of times other contractors, they talk crap about the other contractor. They're going to find what you did wrong. And I tend to not, I
Mm,
try not to do that, but there's some things that I can't believe that there's other companies doing. And it's a few more
yeah.
dollars to put an end to it. And it's literally a few more dollars could have saved you a lawsuit, if that makes sense, if
Yeah.
it happens. So
Yeah.
I was always
For
saying,
sure.
make sure everything's in order, and definitely with your crews, making sure that they're doing, they're not just there for the job, that they're following up on what needs to be done.
That's great advice. Well, we're going to have your website linked down below in the description. So if anybody is in the area and they need some permanent lights, I don't know the odds of that, but definitely hit up Ray. Ray, what's the best place for people to find you if they want to get in touch?
Yeah, you can hit our website, raysholidaylights.com. That's going to give you a majority of our leads. We're on Facebook. That's where we stay up to date with all our recent projects and happenings and things with the community that we're doing. Obviously, I can't do lights in Florida right now, but maybe at some point,
Yeah.
anyone in Florida looking for lights, let me know. I may have to get another team out there.
Awesome. Well, I love it, Ray. I know this will be valuable to a lot of other holiday lighting companies all around the world and in the US checking out this video. So thanks for hopping on, Ray, and have a great rest of your weekend.
Hey, take it easy.